see the how the lunar blacks were used in just in ways I hadn't seen before, especially the nebulas. I really enjoyed Sylvia nebulas; those were awesome. So today we have a wonderful artist. We have Milind Malik. Milind is from India. He's a brand ambassador. He's a marvelous artist. I have one of my favorite paintings of his is in my kitchen with a young woman in a cafe, and it's beautiful. His work is beautiful. So I think you will really enjoy meeting Malik and hearing how he does his art. I am going to ask Anna Marie and Ashley and Angela to help me look at Facebook and bring the Facebook questions forward so we don't miss any of you. And everybody, welcome. Milind, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Very good.
And
So I'm,
would you like to hear people ask you questions as you work, or do you want them at
yeah,
the
yeah.
end?
I don't mind. I might not answer them at that moment. I might answer them later. But I don't get disturbed, so they can keep on asking whenever they want. And if I think I should answer it later, then I'll just answer it later, not
Okay,
at that point. But yeah, please do ask anything and everything.
awesome.
Uh, are
Milind's
you
work is absolutely
seeing my
gorgeous.
screen too, John?
Yes?
Uh, just a minute. I don't see my screen. Oh, I'm here. Fine, fine. So the painting which I'm gonna do is pretty much colorful because I want to use all the spectrum of colors from my set of 6 colors. And the idea is to, if uh, I can use all those colors to make all the colors that ultimately. So yeah, this is a scene from um, Cinque Terre. Those who want to see this.
We have Milind's colors for today shared in the chat. Thanks, Letty.
Okay, so can you see my palette?
No, I think the share screen has stopped, Milind. You
Okay.
can just tap share screen again. There.
And now we
We
can.
see it now.
Fine,
Thank
fine.
you.
Okay, I'm just focus it.
19 Sorry, guys.
See, my setting up palette is probably much different from most other people. Uh, so if you want to ask any question about why do I do that way, you may.
Are you willing to talk through the process of how you lay out your palette as you're doing it?
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
it's no big deal. So this is yellow, then 2 reds, warm red, cool red, 2 blues, warm blue, cool blue, and then there is a little neutral tint additionally I have squeezed in. So this is basically 3 primaries. They are not in a triangle. But as far as I'm concerned, I can pick up the three primaries as if they are in three triangles. So that's why I put it from yellow, warm red, cool red towards blue, and then coming back to here. I might add little halo green between the blue and yellow. So the primary circle moves like that. And the scene which I'm painting is like 800 windows and 900 doors. Basically, my set of colors do not have the deep yellow, so I'm just creating some. Yeah, using a little additional color, which is titanium white, just for certain shades of pink, which I want to have them with a little more density, because those are buildings. Otherwise, I wouldn't use, I wouldn't let this white mix get mixed with any colors, but particularly in this case, I am.
No, can unmute you then.
Mulind, we had an interesting question on the Facebook side. And the
Okay.
question was asking from
Yeah.
Sirish, Sir, when you are painting a cycle or a window or something, Do you at that moment remember a real cycle, etc., which you have seen in life some time ago?
Yeah, obviously. So, like, it's a photosensitive memory that is always on the job. So, if I'm painting a cycle rather than spelling a cycle, I'm remembering the shape of the cycle. Yeah, so I do in terms of shape. And of course, if I'm painting outdoor, I would be painting what I see. I hope I have answered your question. Was it that?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so we don't have a brown here, which I can make from these, but I'll try and use the brown. A little quinacridone deep gold. It's a very strong color, so I'm just using it to touch and go.
We have another question on the Facebook side from Minu asking, Sir, why didn't you start with the sky? Thank you.
Oh, why did I not start with this guy? See, this, basically, I wanted to lay the primaries and the brightest color, and then there are mountains behind. So I'm starting from, I would say, from the start, center of attraction and going radially outwards, not coming like a traditional way. So, yeah, because retaining the freshness of these colors, like what I would call it, a virginity of these certain colors, is very important. So this is my thinking is from central, I mean radially outwards. Yes. Yeah, so this is not exactly the traditional way, but
On the Facebook side, we have another question from Sudha, and she's asking, it would be great if you could explain the color mixes as you go along. Thank you.
That's a complex question. See, basically, I'm using all the primaries. So, as you see, the two primaries are like Pyrrole Scarlet, which is on the warmer side, and Crimson on the cooler side. So, you can mix any secondaries by adding these colors. That is obvious. But additionally, when I want to go on a tertiary color, I'm either mixing this quinacridone deep gold little bit, or as you see, I would be going on mixing the complementary colors. So later on in the process, you might see the green trees, but the dark part of the green tree would be the green and red. Okay. So the phthalo green and crimson mixed together will make the dark. Similarly, on the yellow side also, now this is a little bit of orangish on the shadow side, but I might add little ultramarine and crimson to that yellow to make it neutral. So basically, I am not thinking too much when I'm mixing color, but the color theory, like the two complementaries will neutralize each other and make a darker color, essential, is the idea which goes behind. So if I'm mixing red and green, obviously they are going to neutralize each other, but more green and less red will be a darker green. More red and less green will be a darker red. So I would be using that as my primary, I would say, color mixing technique. I hope you understood. But whatever I mix on the palette is more of a intuitive at that moment, obviously, keeping the color theory in the back of my mind. I hope I have not confused you rather than answer you.
You explained it beautifully.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks. I'm adding a little bit of this permanent green light. Uh,
I appreciated having the opportunity to read a little bit about your bio beforehand.
Thank you.
And it commented about how long you've been painting in watercolor in the discipline. And I was wondering, would you be willing to share with all of us younger artists about longevity as an artist and about the disciplines necessary and the joys of being in this field for a long time? Thank you.
See, the discipline necessary, like, I mean, and that's a difficult one, I would say, to tell you. See, every learning action has to have its own discipline, but discipline should not be something which is a burden on you. Okay. So the activity has to be happiness. Okay. So I wouldn't use the word discipline, but obviously when you're working in watercolor, there are certain watercolor limitations and possibilities. So you want to explore all the possibilities with keeping in mind the limitations of watercolor. And once you master that medium, then you are free to go beyond the borders. Okay. So every artist, I believe, has to experiment as much as possible, not to get into, for the reason not to get into a very habit. Okay. But before experimenting, one has to master his technique and then go about experimenting as much as you want. And one important thing I always tell my students, like when you begin, the first thing you have to learn is also, which is a part of discipline, the readiness to make mistakes. The more amount of mistakes you do in your journey, faster you might reach where you want to reach, if there is any destination. Actually, there is no such thing as destination. The journey is the destination, is what I always try to tell myself.
We have another comment in Facebook from Sirish.
Hmm.
Milind Sir's paintings depict the chaos of the urban in a simple and a gentle manner, mostly always beautiful. Sir, did it come across your mind to depict the darker side too? Thank you.
See, when I paint, what I paint is not in any sociological manner. Like a lot of my paintings in the urban setting are of those kind of housing which are low income housing kind of things. But what I enjoy is the shapes, the beauty of houses which are mingled into each other, the clothes hanging outside. So, in spite of the darkness which you probably mean, there is a beauty of community living, which I am trying to depict. So my painting will look happy, even though some people might think it is from the darker side of life. But it is, I would rather say it is a positive outlook at the darker side. I don't know if I have made myself clear.
Hi, Milind, it's me, Besnik. I want to ask you which blue you usually use for painting the sky.
Normally, I would use ultramarine or cobalt sometimes, but this time I have used a phthalo because the reference picture which I'm looking at has got pretty much cooler thing going up there. So most of the time I would use ultramarine or cobalt.
Nice. I also love phthalo. Very often I use it for skies. Thank you for your answer.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Your choice of working with colors gives so much positive mood, Milind.
Oh, thanks.
Very beautiful. Huh? Always, I love your paintings when you post them.
Okay, thank you.
Do you usually use the same brush all the way through the paintings?
No. See, right now it's a major area, so I'm using this whatever this is not actually a watercolor brush, more of a very rough oriented. But when I go into details, I would use a fine point, either what you non-natural or synthetic hair, and also the rigor. The rigor is more of a imitation Kolinsky, and the fine one is a synthetic, stiff one.
Very nice. Thank you.
So this painting is going to be called as, I mean, this place is from Cinque Terre, Corniglia, and all those hill houses on the hill, and too many windows. So I'm going to call this painting as 800 windows and 900 doors. Does that make any sense to you guys?
Yes.
No.
Yes,
Those,
yes, sir.
Yes.
from India would recognize why I call this that way. I think Anand, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Do you want to tell them why the name?
Oh, it's a famous Marathi song, 800 खिडक्या 900 दारं, which means 800 windows and 900 doors. Very popular song, which is obviously very dear to you.
Yeah, not particularly. I enjoy the song, but I enjoy that.
Some people on Facebook are curious about the choices in green, but I also suspect maybe how you're mixing the greens that you're using. Thank you.
This one or these? See, this is the dark one is a phthalo green, which is from my set. Plus, additionally, I'm using this permanent light green. And to make the green much darker or neutral, I'm using crimson, adding crimson to that.
Milind, which colors are you mixing now for your this dark that you are doing the windows?
Now, see, these certain windows are little greenish, the Italian typical windows. So it's a phthalo green and red. But this one is like almost neutral tint mixed with little pyrrole scarlet
Nice, thank you.
to make it a little brownish.
Thank you.
Thanks. Welcome. And a touch of ultramarine as well to make it cooler.
Milind, do you always paint using an easel?
Uh, sorry?
Do you always paint using an easel?
Yeah, most of the time. So like this session is happening from my home setup. So I'm using a small easel, which is kept on a table. But in my studio, I have a large board which can swivel in any angle. But most of the time, I like my painting as much vertical as possible. Whenever I do some wash and let the flow run down, that time I will make the painting horizontal itself. But while actually working, I like it vertical.
Thank you. A lot of people are asking if the sound is off. It's no one's asking Milind questions. Milind loves questions, so if you want to ask questions, please
Yeah.
ask questions.
Yeah, thank you.
It's not a question, but I feel like I've watched you build this painting. As much building is going on as is painting. It's just beautiful to watch it all happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Milind, which papers do you mostly use in your paintings? Cold press or hot press?
Most of the time cold pressed. Very rarely I'll use hot pressed. And the most, I mean, my three best papers are, one is this Bahong Academy. The reason is the paper is very good and it is a real value for money. It's not the most expensive paper. And the other two is Lana and Lana cold pressed and Hanamule rough paper. That is my recent favorite.
Nice. I am also using most of the time Bahong. I really love this.
Yeah. I mean, I love using arches also, but whenever I use arches, somehow my Indian conservative mind is thinking of the price I've paid for the paper. So it compels me to do something.
Milan, do you have a firm surface behind your board or does it just hold up like that?
No, it holds like that.
Thank you.
Oh, it's a block, is it?
Yeah, it's a block.
Which color you prefer for shadows? I suppose neutral tint, huh?
Yeah, so right now it's a very small thing. So I'm using neutral tint either mixed with pyrrole scarlet or sometimes I'm adding little ultramarine blue when I want to go on a much cooler side. But if you ask me about now the strong shadow, that I would move little more warmer if the shadow is very strong.
Milind, I love your greens. Your greens are always so expressive. You use so many hues of the greens, and they're just beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah. Have you visited India? Like in India, you get to see those kind of greens. So
Yes, I remember.
particularly tropical countries have. much stronger greens.
Usually, I think you never use white to mix the colors, Milind.
No, I sometimes like if you see this particular pink, I had given a touch of white. But yeah, not so much.
Milind, what flat brush do you like?
See, I like all kinds of brushes, like including mop and flat brush also. So not in this particular one, but if you see, this is a small flat. So flat gives me some kind of control over the subjects which are more architectural.
Thank you.
We have a fun technical question on Facebook from Sudha asking, how do you paint without smudging? Thank you.
See, I would rather call it when you want the paint to blend with each other, obviously you go in one go or wet in wet. But then if you allow it to dry, obviously you are doing painting over it. So there's no, why would it smudge if you paint dry on dry? And when you paint wet in wet, you want it to blend. I would use the word blend rather than smudge.
Milind, we also have a technical question about your easel because they like the way the palette is near your painting. Do you use a special kind of easel or is it just a photographic easel?
No, it's a photographic easel. I have given some physical elevation on the table and put my palette here.
So you made an adaptation for the table.
Let me show you how it is done. Can you see it? It's holding on a.
Yes. Yes, thank you. Yes, we see in the other camera. Yeah, thank you.
Do you always stand to paint?
Yeah, most of the time. Because that is when I can move backwards, move forward, and I have more control on. I mean, my hand is not constrained, so I have a freedom. So.
And it's easier to keep your hand off the paper when you're standing.
Yeah.
and not smudge the colors. I
Yeah.
mean,
Smudging phenomena, I've really not understood the question. Uh,
You answered the question very well. Smudging is moving the
Fine.
color with your hand.
yes.
You answered the question great. Thanks.
Thank you.
We have another technical question on the Facebook side asking, do you use less water when painting with an easel? And that question is from Merlene. Thank you.
Yeah, I might be using lesser water at times because otherwise the whole thing will run down. But that depends on what kind of a subject I'm doing. So if I'm doing something like a misty or a rainy kind of thing, where obviously you want the paint to run down the water. So that time I might pick up the painting and just hold it horizontal for a while. So when I paint in my studio, I have a easel which just flips everywhere. So if I give washes and don't want the paint to run down, I would make it horizontal till it settles. Then again, back to
Milind, we have a wonderful comment here. It says the town looks as if it is being hugged by the natural landscape.
Oh yeah. It actually, that place is like that.
And Letizia finds it very similar to the place where she grew up.
Which place?
In
Yeah.
the center of Italy, central Italy, but her grandpa's house had a pinky facade with green windows, but she doesn't mention, maybe she can write the name
No,
or
no.
say or tell us the name.
Yeah, Italy is like, it's uh, a ready-made place made for watercolor artists.
Everything is beautiful in Italy, isn't it? Every city, every town. Very difficult to find an ugly place in Italy.
Yeah.
Sonino,
This looks like a where is this place you're painting?
we can't understand you, Stella. The voice gets cut.
Oh, I was thinking.
We cannot understand.
You want to type it, whoever, Stella?
Yeah. So Leticia's town is Sonino. It's near, I don't know, maybe near Rome.
While we're waiting for Stella's question, there were a few others that I missed that I would be happy to share. Minu is saying, Sir, how do we start sketching this kind of composition before we start painting? And then there were two more from Sleepless in Pune, I think it must be your neighbor, saying, Sir, two questions. At what point do you decide to end your painting? How do you decide that? Perhaps you can explain when you're at the end of the demo.
Yeah,
And
I'll try to explain it at the end of the demo. See, many a times
you,
when to stop is really a tough thing. So usually when I paint, either I'm painting in my with my students around or somebody around. So many a times I do ask the who's standing next to me, who's like a third person opinion, which helps me many. Or if there is nobody around, I would just imagine myself as a third person and ask myself to stop. So, and what was the
Milind?
question before that? Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead, Ash. Was it Ashley or Anna Marie who has a question?
Yes. See, basically, doing a sketch of such a complex architectural subject is not very easy. So what I do is I just block in certain bigger shapes and then go on building as if it's my like a Lego house. I'm building the thing. Then I stop looking at what is actually there. I start building my own town. So if you want to just look at everything and do it exactly, it will take a lot of time and headache. So the simple manner is,
So you simplify.
yeah, simplify and take a liberty and build your own houses.
It's a good way. Yeah.
And then, just for the interest of time, we have about 4 minutes, about 3 minutes, 4 minutes left. And if you like, you can. I think you're good with time. From my monitor, it looks done already. But if you like, you can share the artwork and perhaps answer some more questions from our audience.
Yeah. I mean, for this painting to get completed, I am going to need a lot more time. But I can go on answering questions, no problem.
Would you have
Keep it
any of
for
your
another 3
sketchbooks
minutes.
available to look at?
Sorry?
Would you have any of your sketchbooks handy to look at to show us how you approach your sketches?
I will, okay, I'll just show you something. Oh, we are running short on time. I didn't guess that. So you want me to complete the painting or show you something else?
You don't need to complete it, Milind.
Oh,
But if you post it once you are done, that would be wonderful.
yeah, I'll post it once I'm done, but I'll just cover one or two washes just to create more interest here.
It's beautiful, Milind. It reminds me of Almora. What is the place that you're painting?
Okay.
He didn't.
Okay, anyway. So to share my sketchbook, I don't have many at the moment, but I would There we go. Yeah, I mean, it's not much, but you can see what happens. But usually, there are such kind of very small thumbnails which I do in the sketchbook. This stuff. And let me find something else. I'll share you with some of my thumbnails and maybe some of my very rough paintings. Yeah. Okay, this is a thumbnail of a painting which you see here. Do you see it?
Yes, very nice.
That is really beautiful.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Milind.
Yeah, if you want, I can share a few more of my paintings.
Beautiful work.
Mm-hmm.
You must have been to this place, John.
Have you?
You might have been to this place. This is that Cala Figuera on Mallorca.
Oh, yeah, with Penny.
Yeah, what a reflection.
Yeah, and this is Hallstatt, where I've been a few months back.
Beautiful.
So on that one, did you start with the yellow building and then move out from there?
Yeah, almost like that. But like I was balancing the yellow at times and balancing the brown at times. So this is the same Austria.
On Facebook, Shilpi, is curious to know if you use your own reference photographs. Thank you.
90% times I would use my own reference photographs, but sometimes I use other people's photographs. Only if I have been to that place myself. Oh, I wouldn't use somebody else's photograph if it's something completely alien for me. I mean, after I have traveled in Italy, I would use anybody's Italian photo from Italy. But 90% time I prefer to use my own.
Beautiful work, Milind. Thank you.
Okay.
I gotta go.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. So are we done?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you were wonderful.
Thank
Great.
you.
And that
Just a
went by very
second,
quickly.
please.
A nice
So-
demo, Milind bhai.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you. Thank
Great
you.
Very
demo.
nice work.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much.
Yeah,
Thank you, Milind. Thank you for
Thank you,
everybody.
Milind.
If you
Thank
would
you.
post
Thank you,
your-
Milind.
Thank you.
if you could post your
Thank
final
you,
work,
Milind.
that'd be great.
Very
Beautiful.
beautiful.
Thank you. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you so much.